Howbeit, treasured ones, and welcome to this day's read and review of 6-Hour Prelude, a literal copy posted 2026-010, the fifth word of 10 words during this fourth watch of the 19th day of the 12th month. On or about the Roman Commerce Calendar date of so-called Saturday, March 21st, 2026, at approximately 6:30 a.m. Roman clock local time in alleged Central Time Zone. A quick housekeeping note: fair use statement. Excerpts of copyrighted material may, under certain circumstances, be quoted verbatim for research, news reporting, and commentary purposes without the need for, permission from, or payment to the copyright holder. Six-Hour Prelude, a literal copy posted 2026-010, is a two-page paperwork. Page 1 of 2 reads as follows. Table man with arms raised. The 10 words sprung forth with blankets, beans, and bullets delivery services. All Almighty lot rights reserved by the finger of the Almighty One, with the blood of the Anointed One, from the breath of the allocated one. 6-Hour Prelude, a literal copy posted 2026-010. In the beginning, chapter 3. During the first hour, where he saw a light be light, per in the beginning, chapter 1, verse 4. Now the serpent be more crafty than any creature of the field which Yahuwah Almighty had made. And the serpent said to the woman, quote, Is it true that Almighty has said, Do not eat of every tree of the garden? Unquote. And the woman said to the serpent, quote, We are to eat the fruit of the tree of the gardens, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Almighty has said, Do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die. Unquote. And the serpent said to the woman, quote, You shall certainly not die, for Almighty knows that in the day of you eat of it, your eyes shall be open, and you shall be like Almighty, knowing inner light and outer darkness. Unquote. During the third hour, where they impaled them, per Mark 15:25. So the woman saw the tree which was in the midst of the garden was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise. And she took of the fruit and ate. And the woman also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made loin coverings for themselves. Afterwards they heard the voice of Yahuwah Almighty, walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And the man and his wife hid themselves among the trees in the garden. During the 6th hour, where darkness overcome the whole land, per Mark 15:33. But Yahuwah Almighty called unto the man, and said unto him, quote, Where art thou? Unquote. And the man said, quote, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked. Therefore I hid myself. Unquote. And Almighty said, quote, Who told thee that thou wert naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee, that thou shalt not eat? Unquote. And the man said, quote, The woman which thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Unquote. And Yahuwah Almighty said to the woman, quote, Why hast thou done this? Unquote. And the woman said, quote, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Unquote. Turn with me to page 2. Page 2 of 2 of 6 Hour Prelude reads as follows. During the 9th hour, where he breathed his last, per Mark 15:34. Then Yahuwah Almighty said to the serpent, quote, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all the cattle, and above every creature in the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust thou shalt eat all the days of thy life. I will also put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. He shall break your head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unquote. Unto the woman, Yahuwah Almighty said, quote, I will greatly increase thy sorrows and thy consumptions. In sorrow shall thou bring forth children, and thy desire shall be subject to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Unquote. Also to the man Almighty said, quote, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed be the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee. And thou shalt eat the herb of the field, and the sweat of thy face shall thou eat bread, till thou return to the ground. For out of it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you return. Unquote. During the 12th hour, where they laid him, per Mark 15:46. And a man called his wife's name Kawa, also spelled as Kaua, aka Eve, because she's the mother of all existing and not existing, the womb and the tomb. Unto Adam, that is to say mankind, and to his wife, that is to say womankind, did Yahuwah Almighty make coats of skin and clothe them. And Yahuwah Almighty said, quote, behold, the man is become as one of us, to know inner light and outer darkness. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also of the tree of existence, and eat and live forever. Unquote. Thus Yahuwah Almighty drove mankind out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground whence he was taken. Thus Almighty cast out mankind, and at the east gate of the Garden of Eden, Almighty placed custodians and a flaming sword which turned every way to guard the way of the tree of existence. Praise Yahuwah, my self-existent maker. Thank you, Yahushua, for branches of boundaries, my pre-existent master. An acknowledgement of the allocated ones, my existential mentors from womb to tomb. Any failure be mine alone. May all hearts be well, may all beings be whole. Let it be so. The earthly estate. The 9th hour private member assembly trust instruments, all Almighty law rights reserved through the scriptures. And that concludes 6 Hour Prelude, a literal copy posted 2026-010, the 5th word of 10 words of Table Man with Arms Raised. See you at the next video, treasured ones, most high willing.